Lyssa, is this a hug or an assassination prelude? Zarnok's voice echoed from inside the toaster oven. Yes, he had climbed in there, voluntarily, because 10 minutes earlier, Lyssa had tried to comfort him after he burned his royal cape in what he thought was a textile rejuvenation vortex, but was in fact a human microwave. The cape was gone, so was most of his dignity. But the real danger in Zarnok's mind was the hug. Let's rewind approximately one binge session. Specifically, The Fast and the Familial 19, Earth's longest-running saga of reckless driving and emotionally charged shoulder grabs. Zarnok had consumed all 19 movies in one sitting, for research, obviously. By the time the credits rolled, he was trembling under a weighted blanket screaming, "Don't family me, Dominic." Because in every film, right before a major conflict, humans hugged. Then someone got launched off a helicopter, or exploded in a muscle car, or betrayed a cousin. Naturally, he concluded the hug was not affection, it was warning. So when Lyssa walked in, looking mildly concerned and holding out both arms, Zarnok didn't see empathy. He saw a death flag. He shrieked, flailed, and sprinted across the room like a wounded space ostrich, knocking over 2 chairs and an espresso machine. Then he dove headfirst into the toaster oven, which, unfortunately, was still plugged in. "You've got to stop watching Earth media unsupervised," Lyssa said, squatting next to the appliance. "You've got to stop initiating intimacy like a serial stabber," Zarnok howled. He sounded like a kettle full of betrayal. Lyssa blinked. "That's a hug. I was comforting you." With pre-battle body contact? It's not a prelude to violence. Humans hug because they care. Zarnok poked his head out, eyes glowing with caution. "You care, so you immobilize me for optimal gut access?" Lyssa just stared at him, then sighed. This wasn't the first misunderstanding. Last week, he mistook a handshake for a nerve pinch and yeeted himself into a ficus. Before that, he thought a wink was Earth's signal for starting trial by combat, which is why he almost kicked a barista into the whipped cream station at Starbucks. But the hug thing? This was new. This was personal. Because Lyssa had recently become huggy, not aggressively, just a little too available with her arms. Whenever Zarnok looked mildly distressed or talked about his emotional moon poems, Lyssa would lean in for physical reassurance. Zarnok, meanwhile, would scream, "Wrong protocol," and initiate evasive maneuvers. One time, he teleported into a neighbor's washing machine. "I need answers," he mumbled, crawling out of the toaster oven and brushing off breadcrumbs. Earth's social cues are a coded language of pre-hostility rituals. Lyssa raised an eyebrow. "Or you could just ask me what a hug is." That's exactly what a predator would say before lunging. She facepalmed, hard, but it was too late. Zarnok was already back on EarthNet, opening 67 browser tabs titled, "Why Do Humans Hug Before Killing?" One of them was a TED Talk about NFL team bonding. Another was an ad for weighted blankets. He clicked both, simultaneously. And that night, he locked the door to his room, booby-trapped the hallway with glitter mines, and taped a sticky note to his chest that said, "Do not hug, prone to detonation." For now, he was safe. For now. Because Lyssa had just texted him one word, therapy. And Zarnok did not remember Earth therapists asking for consent before hugging. Why would a child initiate a full-body grapple right before snack time? Zarnok burst through the daycare exit, covered in glitter, glue, and what he hoped was applesauce. That toddler was winding up for a kill shot, he shouted into his wrist communicator. She whispered, "I love you," and then hugged me with intent. Static crackled back. No one was listening, because he'd been conducting his research alone. For days. The wedding hadn't been better. He crashed it disguised as a caterer, which mostly involved taping a shrimp cocktail tray to his chest and walking sideways. Everyone kept hugging. The bride hugged the groom. The groom hugged a crying uncle. The crying uncle hugged him. Zarnok responded by screaming, "Back, Warlock!" and launching a canapé into the punch bowl. It did not land well. His third infiltration was a jiu-jitsu dojo, which, in retrospect, was a tactical misstep. Too many holds, too much sweat, too many humans yelling, "This is a safe space," while trying to fold him into a meat pretzel. By the end, Zarnok's internal threat meter, visually represented by a Comic Sans bar that said, "Uh-oh, spaghetti-o," was stuck at maximum alert. So naturally, he turned to therapy. Or more accurately, Lyssa dragged him there. Again, "Can you please just sit like a normal sentient and not hiss at anyone this time?" she asked, holding the clinic door. Zarnok stomped inside, armor plates clanking, holding a cardboard sign that read, "No Hug Zone," with glitter glue and 6 exclamation points. Everyone in the waiting room turned. An older couple smiled politely. Zarnok bared his teeth. "Don't you dare feel anything in my direction." Lyssa sighed so hard the ficus near the window leaned away. They sat. Zarnok vibrated. Every time someone got called in and hugged the therapist on the way out, he flinched like he just heard a murder confession. "I'm pretty sure that last one was plotting a coup," he muttered. Lyssa pinched the bridge of her nose. "You need to calm down." "I am calm. This is my camouflage. You look like a doomsday prepper at a Build-A-Bear." "I said camouflage!" Then the therapist's door creaked open. "Zarnok and Lyssa?" came the soft voice. Zarnok stood instantly, armor plates clicking, eyes glowing faint lavender. He turned slowly, dramatically, and whispered, "If this ends in a group hug, I'm detonating emotionally and literally." He stepped forward, straight into a therapy couch booby-trapped with a decorative throw pillow. His shriek echoed down the hallway, and thus began what he would later describe as the great emotional ambush of Sector Earth 23. But what Lyssa just called Tuesday. It's confirmed. The hug is a pre-battle buff. Zarnok stood on the therapy couch, holding up a tablet like it was an ancient Earth scroll. "Look," he cried, spinning it around for Lyssa to see. "A TED Talk, human expert, red circular carpet of truth. Title, Hugs Before Battles, the Psychology of NFL Team Bonding." He was glowing, not metaphorically. He'd accidentally activated his internal adrenaline glands, and now his elbows were emitting steam. Lyssa blinked. "You watched a TED Talk in the middle of your trauma session?" "It auto-played. I was Googling Earth warfare rituals involving emotional hostage-taking, and the algorithm delivered divine revelation." The therapist opened her mouth. Zarnok cut her off with a single raised finger. "Ma'am, please do not interrupt my academic panic." He jabbed the screen. "This explains everything. They hug before football, which is basically legally sanctioned tribal combat. They hug before weddings, which are clearly lifelong blood pacts. And worst of all," he narrowed his eyes, "they hug before brunch with in-laws." Lyssa exhaled through her teeth. "Zarnok," he turned slowly, "you told me hugging was affection, but clearly it's tactical morale fortification." "It is affection." Zarnok paused, squinted. "What did you say?" "Affection," she repeated gently. "You know, warmth, comfort, emotional connection." He stiffened, then backed away in horror. "You said infection?" "No, I didn't." Zarnok shrieked, reached into his armor pouch, and pulled out a military-grade laser sanitizing cloth. "Everything on this couch has been exposed to biological love germs." He began scrubbing with the urgency of a man trying to erase feelings. The therapist stared at him like he just farted in Morse code. Lyssa facepalmed so hard her palm left a print on her forehead. "Zarnok," she said slowly, "do you honestly believe affection is contagious?" He looked up with deep, haunted eyes. "I don't know what to believe anymore." He sprayed the armrest twice, just in case. Lyssa sat back and crossed her arms. "You know what? Fine. Believe whatever you want, but the next time I hug you, it'll be out of pure, unfiltered infection." Zarnok recoiled like she'd threatened to sneeze directly into his soul. "I'll never let myself be vulnerable to that level of intimacy pathogen again." "Good," she said, smirking. "Then I guess I'll cancel the surprise group hug circle I planned for later." He gasped. The therapist blinked. The couch remained emotionally compromised. And Zarnok began preparing for the worst, a full-scale affection ambush, armed with feelings. "You violated the no-hug accord." Zarnok screamed as if Lyssa had just stabbed him with a Hallmark card. Because she had done the unthinkable. She hugged him. Not a sneak hug, not a surprise tap on the back hug, a full-on double-arm squish your cape, I'm done arguing and I actually care hug. And that was too much. Zarnok's neural interface sparked, his optics flashed purple-white, his arms flailed like inflatable wacky tube men on Earth commercial lots. Then, with a squeal, a twitch, and a quote from Fast and the Familial 7, "Live fast, hug never," he launched himself sideways through the therapy office window. There was a crash, a scream, possibly a duck, and then silence, until the sound of soft koi splashing echoed through the suburban cul-de-sac. Lyssa ran outside, boots squelching in the lawn, therapist trailing behind her holding an emotional support clipboard. They found him in the koi pond, floating, staring at the sky, speaking softly to a fish. I shall call you Lieutenant Splash Feelings because you understand what the universe does not. The koi blinked. Probably. Lyssa stared. Are you monologuing to aquatic wildlife? Zarnok nodded solemnly. They don't hug. They just vibe. You jumped out of a second-story window to avoid emotional contact. I survived a second-story window to escape emotional assassination. You're literally cradling a koi. He cradled me first with his presence. She stepped closer. He recoiled. Stay back. This is a sacred wet zone. I'm not here to hug you. I'm here to figure out which part of your brain needs factory reset. He pointed dramatically at his chest. This part, the squishy middle, I think it's broken. Lyssa sighed and sat down on a dry patch of grass. You're not broken. You're just overdramatic. That's slander. That's accurate. They sat for a minute, silence, except for the gentle bubbling of koi gossip. Finally, Zarnok muttered, I think I'm writing poetry now. Lyssa arched an eyebrow. Oh no, from the perspective of misunderstood water creatures. Oh no. It's titled, Hug Me Not, for I am finned and fragile, she groaned. Zarnok, you made me feel things, and now the only way to survive is to channel it into sad aquatic metaphors. He pulled a leaf from the water and held it like it was a quill. Lyssa rubbed her face. This is bonding, isn't it? She said. Yes, and now I hate you for it. Perfect. They paused, stared at each other, then both burst into laughter, then immediately started arguing about who initiated the emotional vulnerability, which, Zarnok declared, proved his original hypothesis was at least 50% valid, maybe even 52, possibly more, if not for what Lyssa did next. I am now officially open to supervised emotional compression. Zarnok stood stiffly in the therapy office, arms at his sides, eyes darting. But only if the hug is pre-cleared, time-limited, and there's at least one layer of cape fabric between torsos. Lyssa nodded, arms crossed. Deal. As long as you stop calling it pre-combat squish compression. But that's what it is. No, it isn't. It's a hug. A hug is just a surprise grapple with extra steps. She stepped forward. He flinched. Are you initiating? I'm adjusting your cape so it's between us, per your own ridiculous terms. Oh, proceed. She wrapped her arms around him, lightly, gently. No sudden moves, no bear tactics. Zarnok stood frozen, then slowly, cautiously, returned the gesture, for 3 seconds, exactly. He had set a timer. Okay, that was survivable, he muttered, pulling back. I did not explode. Your eye twitched, just a minor internal fire. They both sat down. The couch squelched slightly from Zarnok's earlier koi-related trauma. I've decided, he said, smoothing his damp cape, that humans are confusing, irrational, and possibly weaponized by emotions. Correct. But also, kind of nice? Lyssa smiled. That's literally the entire problem with us. He glanced at the therapist, who had wisely stayed silent throughout this episode. Permission to stop attending Earth therapy? The therapist raised an eyebrow. Lyssa answered for her. Denied. Ugh, tyranny. You launched yourself through a window because of affection. That koi pond was very emotionally clarifying. You named a fish after a feeling. Lieutenant Splash Feelings gets me. They stood. Zarnok looked at the therapy couch, tapped it once, whispered, You tried to break me. The couch did not reply, but it was still a little damp. As they walked out, Lyssa offered a hand. Zarnok considered it, then bumped elbows instead. Baby steps, she said. I'm not a baby, he muttered. You short-circuited from a hug. I said supervised hugs only. And as they disappeared through the sliding doors, the words echoed faintly down the hallway. Group therapy will be the end of me. Ever hugged someone and immediately regretted it? Tell us your most chaotic hug moment below. Follow for the next meltdown in Ep 3. Group therapy broke my soul.